76ers. 10, 9, 8, 76ers.
What's going on, guys? This is UK 76ers. My name is Ben Glasspool, and the Philadelphia 76ers have beaten the Charlotte Hornets by 127 points to 112. This was a fantastic win, but before we dive into it, I just want to apologise for not getting a video up for the Orlando game. It was New Year's Eve, and it was started at 11:30 tip-off UK time. So obviously at that point I was having a few drinks and chatting to my mates. And don't get me wrong, I did watch the game, but the video I would have put wouldn't have been of very good quality had I just done one straight off the cuff, as I've done in the past beforehand. So apologies for that. I will quickly summarise just now. Simmons hit a three, Matisse found his shot, we blew the magic out, and now they are no longer unbeaten. Happy days. So let's just dive straight back into the Charlotte game. Obviously 127, 112 points, 15-point buffer. Pretty easy job, I guess. Look, this was a fantastic game. It felt like a real... Like, we really turned a corner in this game as a franchise and as a team. And what was different from last season was, firstly, the shooting, the ball movement, the intensity, the fact that we didn't play down to a team. Look, Charlotte I think they're a good team. They have a really slim chance of making the playoffs, but they shouldn't be, kicking up too much of a fuss in the East. But they're still a good team with good players, and you've got to take them seriously. But we took them seriously, which is ironically something we just didn't really do for a lot of teams in the past. I mean, when you look at last season, we had lost to the Cavs. Look, I know we lost to the Cavs the other week, but we lost to the Cavs last season. We lost to the Hawks last season. Lost to the Suns. We lost to the Warriors. The Warriors, who I think they have the worst record in the league the whole of last season. There are some games where we really played down to opponents, and there was no danger of that. We started off with a great intensity from the offset. Danny Green drained his first couple of threes. He had 11 points in the first quarter. Tobias had 9. And it was just a really professional performance, which is no less than you expect from professional athletes, but it's just not what we've been getting from the last season or two. So, no, that was fantastic to see on the offset. Obviously, look, it was great to see us shoot a ridiculous clip from 3. It was 45% from 3 at the end of the game, 16 out of 35. We're not going to do that every game, but we can, get it, 40%, potentially 35%, and really cause team issues. And it's those sensible pickups that Daryl Morey made in that, a week period? In a week, Daryl Morey, he just sorted this team out to the point where we actually have a team that makes sense together now. So Danny Green hit 3 from 6, Seth Curry hit 3 from 6, Tobias Harris hit 4 from 7, Embiid, I think he got 1, but that's you don't expect too much from him. Simmons unfortunately didn't take a 3-point shot, but he had a good game nonetheless. But anyway, from that first quarter, finished 39 to 24 to us, and from there we seemed to have a 15 to 10 point lead throughout the game. Look, sometimes Charlotte came back, and there is an issue with the defensive schemes, the way in which we went about our defensive plays, because sometimes Charlotte got too much what they wanted at the rim. They went to the free throw line more than us, which not many teams go to the free throw line more than us when you've got someone like Embiid. Admittedly, I think Embiid didn't need to play out of his skin. He had a good game, don't get me wrong. I still think he's an MVP candidate with the way he's going about himself, but he didn't need to play as hard because he had people like Tobias stepping up. And when you have people like Tobias stepping up, Embiid doesn't need to get to the line 15 to 20 times a game. He doesn't need to have clutch free throws in the last minutes of the fourth quarter, because the game should already be won, and this is what happened today. Admittedly, we had our starters out for way too long, and we should have buried it long beforehand, but it was never really in danger of losing this game. So Embiid finished on 19 points, 14 rebounds, 7 from 11, 4 from 6 from the free throw line. 7 from 11, yeah, that's efficient, 63% clip. You can't complain at all. People might look at the score sheet and they're like, why hasn't he got 28? But like the reasons I just told you. He didn't need to because other people stepped up. Every member of that starting 5 hit double points. Our 6th man got in double points. When you've got that, you don't need Embiid to go off at a stupid rate. Fantastic from everyone on the offensive end. Look, defensively, we got to work on a few things. The pick and roll defense was quite porous. Terry Rozier went off, and I'm not sure if that was just, I think he had 7 from 11 from 3. Mental, 35 points overall, and I think that's just a bit of a hot night for himself. but also he perhaps did need to be a bit tighter on it. But I remember one time, Ben Simmons was draped all over him, and we know how good Ben Simmons is at defending players. We've seen the stats, we've seen the percentage that people shoot when Ben Simmons is defending them. And I remember Terry Rozier hit a shot off the dribble. Ben Simmons had a hand up in his face, and he just drained it. And you're sort of like, well, this is just one of those nights for Terry Rozier. When we play the Hornets in a couple of days' time, I'll be shocked if he's shooting at the same rate. But at the same time, I'll be shocked if we're shooting at the same rate. So we've got to make required adjustments to ensure that we're tighter defensively, because the Hornets are going to be tighter defensively. We're not going to be shooting at the same rate. So we've got to make sure we can find other ways to win this game rather than just relying on unbelievable shot making. It's not going to happen all the time. But with the shot making, look, it comes from having better shooters, i.e. he played like Steph, i.e. Seth Curry, Danny Green. But it also comes from Embiid seemingly knowing what to do in double teams. How many times did we see Embiid get the double teamed last season and turnover, ball thrown out of play, shot clock violation, you name it. But it's basketball done easy, and he passes it out and it's swung all the way around to the other corner, open three, and it drops. It's a simple game when you put it like that. Look, people are going to be wise to it, and they're going to counter it, and you've got to try and then counter it back. But for now, that's working wonderfully for us, and we're getting the shots up, and they're dropping. So, you can't complain too much. Ben Simmons got his first triple-double of the season. 15, 12, and 11. 6 of 9 from the field, 9 shots, fair enough. First half, we always talk about we wanted to be a bit more aggressive, perhaps be a bit more selfish. Some of the assists he's pulled off were just fantastic. I still don't like that he leaves his feet and then sort of hopelessly looks around, but he's finding his men. So can I complain too much? No, but there will come a point where he does that and there's no one around, and then that's when the turnovers come, that's when travelling happens. So we'll just have to see on that. Second half, he seemed more aggressive. He had a great play. I think you guys know which ones I'm talking about. Seth Curry, alley-oop up to Simmons, throws it down. It was like Chris Paul and Blake Griffin on the Clippers back in the day. It was fantastic to see. What else we got? We've got Tobias Harris's dunk on Bismack Biyombo. This is probably Tobias Harris's best game as a Sixer. And post-game, Ben Simmons did say that what he's noticed the most about Tobias Harris, look, we know his offensive game. But we saw this offensive game at the Clippers. He's always had this. It's just about unlocking it, and Doc seems to be doing that. But it's his defensive intensity and his defensive ability has improved loads. And the stats in this game back Simmons' statement up. 4 steals and 3 blocks. That one of those blocks led to that Simmons poster. So this is all translating to winning basketball. Everything Tobias is doing is benefiting us, and it's greatly benefiting. Look, we talk about the defensive end there, but we talk about the offensive side of things. He's not hesitating to shoot, and that was one of the big issues. Is that he hesitates and jab steps, and perhaps then throws up a hopeless one, or just passes it away, and then we've only got 5 seconds left to get a shot away. If the shot's there, he's going to take it. And when he takes them, it looks like they're going to drop. I feel completely confident in his ability to make these shots all of a sudden. From seemingly overnight, it's gone from I don't like it whenever he's taking a shot to, yeah, if he's shooting, I'm pretty confident it's going to go in. And you've got to give a lot of credit to Doc Rivers here. Because, look, we know what Tobias can do from what I said. Like what I said, what he did with the Clippers, and Doc helped him with that. And he's doing it all over again. And the spacing is coming. He's getting help by the spacing that Green and Curry have. And indeed, from the gravity that Simmons and Embiid have, this gives Harris a whole new avenue to expose. He can drive to the lane, and we saw that what he did with Biyombo. Biyombo's not a small guy. He posterized him. He made him look silly. It was a fantastic dunk, and it was just, I think I left my seat. I mean, I'm on the other side of the Atlantic, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I left my seat. I was hyped. I was pumped. That was such a good play, and you want to see more of that. So Tobias Harris just keep it coming. Finished on 24 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. He just did it all. And so it got to the point where, I said beforehand, I want one of Simmons or Embiid on the floor at any one time. But if Harris is playing like this, he can lead a second team, your bench players, whilst Embiid and Simmons take a rest. And that's such a huge thing to have, because it takes the pressure off of them, and it gives Tobias more responsibility so that he can feel more confident in his own ability, but also we can see what he can do for this team. So I think it came to the point, I want to say towards the end of the second, where it was him and the second, don't want to say second string, but the subs, the bench players. And it was just going to work, and everyone was singing off the same hymn sheet, and everyone got the points. Maxey got his points. He got 9 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. 1 of 2 from 3, hit his first 3-pointer. That was fantastic. Look, he's not looked too convincing, but the fact of the matter is, both him and Matisse are shooting and then unafraid to shoot, and the only way to improve your 3-point shot is to shoot. No, that's not entirely true, but it's to just have confidence in your own ability, and the shots will come. You've got to take good shots, of course, but they are taking good shots. You've got to wait for them to drop. So I have absolutely no issue with that. It's just, on the offensive end, it was impeccable. This was absolutely impeccable. You cannot complain one bit. It's just tightening up a bit on that defensive end, so that we don't do anything silly. You know, better teams would have found ways back into that game. If we were up against the Celtics, if we were up against the Bucks or the Nets, and we go off like that in the first quarter, for example, but then constantly offer them little avenues to come back in, so that when the 15-point lead goes, and it'll just evaporate, and it'll evaporate not just to 10 points, it'll evaporate all the way to 2, or to the point where the other team are leading. When you get that advantage, you got to just put them in the mud and say, we are winning this game. Let's tighten up on the defensive end, let's be ruthless on the offensive end, and let's have it so at the start of the fourth quarter, Embiid and Simmons only need to play, 2-3 minutes? So look, there's not much to complain about. It'll be interesting to see how it adjusts, because we got a back-to-back at the Wells. Well, we're playing Charlotte tomorrow night, obviously having just played them now, and we're playing them at the Wells Fargo Center again. It'll be interesting to see how this adjusts. It's almost like a playoff sort of thing, where it goes back and forth with adjustments. We should still win that game, but it's not going to be the same game. How can it be? Borrego's a decent coach. He's not going to just let the same frailties be exposed. And they've got good players. Look, LaMelo Ball, I thought had a really good game. What did he get? He had 13, 4, 5, 4 steals, 2 blocks. Yeah, he looked pretty good for a rookie. He's my pick to be Rookie of the Year, and he could go off. And Rozier, I don't think Rozier would hit the same level, but he can get 20, 25 points easily. Hayward, former All-Star, he quite what used to be nobody. He's got good playmaking ability. He can get 25 to 30 points. They've got good players. And we've just got to make sure that we do our job. We keep professional. We stay professional. We don't play down like what we did last year. We don't play down to lesser teams. I don't mean that by any disrespect to the Hornets, but we just should be beating them. So that was essentially yesterday's game. It was just a bit crazy seeing this sort of Sixers being unlocked and their full potential being showed. There was a point I remember in the second quarter where it was frantic, where it was just early in the shot clock, one team goes at one end, shoot to 3, same thing happens on the other end, and it was just like, am I watching Sixers basketball here? It was just fantastic to see. Look, and we can talk about the defensive problems, but all we wanted from this team was it to be entertaining, to establish an identity, to look, we'd love to win a championship. Are we probably going to win one this year? Probably not. But we want a platform to build off, so that when it comes to next season or the season after that, we know what we're good at, we know what needs tweaking, we know who may need to be traded, what may need to be traded for, and then we can rebuild and properly get going again. Because the issue we've had for the last couple of seasons is that every season has felt like a completely different squad, has felt like a completely different ethos, and that doesn't bode well for anyone. We need to have a core group of players that stick together. Of course there'll be a few choppers and changes, but as long as we've got that core group that meshes, that plays under a coach who they respect, who gets the best out of them, then that's only going to benefit this team. And look, we probably need to have a better analysis of this on the 20 game mark, but from the 6 games we've played thus far, there have been a few bumps in the road, of course. There's been a lot of positives, and it should, touch wood, it should only get better. This team should only gel more. They should rely on each other more so. And I think you see from how the offensive side of things, how we move the ball, the positional sense of everyone, the selflessness on a lot of plays, and indeed on the defensive end, everyone seems to be pulling in the same direction. They want to be the best defense in this league, and obviously we know with the rim protection of Embiid and with the perimeter defense of Simmons and of Green, and with what Tobias Harris is seemingly turning into, that's entirely possible. And with Matisse off the bench, of course, as well. All of this is possible. It's just keep your feet on the ground. This is only the Charlotte Hornets. We'll go into the next game, hopefully do the same thing again, and then we've got a really tough run of games which will this will really define where we are, I think. For myself, at least, it will. We've got the Nuggets. Embiid's got to show who the best centre in the league is. If he's got that competitive edge, which we know he's got, he's going to go into that game and go up against Jokic and say, look, I'm the most dominant centre in the league. I'm the best centre in the league. I don't know who you think you are. I'm going to drop 30 and 15 on you. We've got the Heat twice. Butler's coming back. Need I say more? We've got the Nets. That's just going to be a really intriguing game because I have the Nets as the best team in the East. Look, they might not have the best record, but they just have the best. They have the best team in the East. If we can go toe to toe with them, get a win, perhaps my perception on this team changes. Look, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, but there's a whole lot of stipulations that can change from these games. We've got the Hawks as well, who have one of the best offenses in the league. What can we do against Trae Young? You know, he seems to be dropping near enough 50 points every other night. We've got a run of games that's going to really test the nerve of this team, and after this run, we will know where we stand in this league, what our aspirations can be for the future. And it's exciting, it's daunting, we know we can do it, but it's just making sure that we do it, that we keep our feet on the ground, remain professional, remain focused on both ends of the court, and there's no reason why we can't come out of this run with feeling even better than we do right now. But anyway, that's been me for this evening. Have a really I hope you had a happy new year. I know I did. It can't get much worse than 2020, and hopefully things on the court for the Sixers will be great and things off the court for you guys will be even better. Can we keep doing these videos, don't you worry. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. It means a hell of a lot. I've really enjoyed doing these, as you guys know, and they're not going to stop anytime soon. So any bits of feedback, any shares are greatly appreciated. Stay safe. Obviously COVID's still lingering even though it is 2021, but you know, less of the dismal stuff. Sixers won, we're all happy. Let's move on to Charlotte tomorrow evening. Have a good one, guys.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.